My name is Jason Hoffman and I play football for the Newcastle Jets. The reason I got into football was because I was fortunate enough to live near my local junior club, which was Mayfield United, and my elder brother played football before me, so it was just natural that when I came of age, which was a very young age of 5 or 6, it was only natural I'd want to follow my older brother and start playing the world game. The length of time that I've been involved in football is since I was 5 or 6. I'm now 27, so obviously I've played football for a fairly long time, and to this very date I still love football as much as I did as a 5-year-old. My biggest inspirations as far as my career have been, it's changed over time actually. When I was a young kid, I used to love watching Ronaldo, who was a Brazilian striker back in the day. Many young players will know Cristiano Ronaldo now, but for me the elder Brazilian striker Ronaldo was a massive inspiration for me to get involved in football a lot more seriously. But these days, now that I'm a married man and obviously the opportunity to come home and play football for Newcastle, it's inspiring to want to do well for hopefully what will be a young family coming in the next few years. I think my biggest motivation at the moment is my teammates and obviously the opportunity to play for Newcastle. Being a Novocastrian and growing up in what's a proud sporting region, the opportunity to be successful for the Newcastle Jets is a massive motivation. Obviously, the day I retire, I'll still be a Newcastle Jets fan. So the ability to have an influence on the game right now in Newcastle is a massive motivation. My biggest aspiration and my biggest goal, you could say, is to play for Australia, the Socceroos. I'm still 27, so I believe it's still possible, and obviously if you're playing well enough at your club level, and obviously like I just mentioned, playing well for the Newcastle Jets, then I'm sure anything is achievable. Yeah, I still remember making my A-League debut and the feelings I had and I guess the excitement I had in that moment, it's still very fresh in my memory. Obviously being a local boy and having a good season the year before in the local state league and winning the championship there with Hamilton Olympic, it seemed only natural that I would go into the A-League setup and be a little bit nervous, I guess, making that step. But I was very fortunate enough that ever since I made my debut, that I guess the club was successful straight away in that season. We won many games in a row, and I was just lucky enough to be a young player and be a part of it, and we ended up going on to win the championship that year. So I guess the debut season that I had was one that I'll obviously never forget. Yeah, obviously the feeling of representing the Newcastle Jets and the region is a bit overwhelming. Obviously being a local boy, I have an enormous sense of pride to represent the people of this town and obviously my family and friends, and every time I go out onto our home ground, obviously I want to do well for the people, not only at the stadium but those at home. Yeah, I guess the feelings that I have when I walk out onto McDonald's Jones Stadium for every home game is a real sense of excitement and I guess a sense of ownership. You have to really make sure that you deliver a performance that the Newcastle fans want, and ever since I was a young boy and obviously still playing for the Newcastle Jets these days, the Newcastle fans always want a dedicated performance, and whether or not things go right or wrong on the day, the minimum you can give is 100% effort, and I believe that the Newcastle Jets fans demand that more than any other fans in the league. The gear you need to play football is obviously you need comfortable boots, obviously shin pads for protection, and obviously a playing strip, which very fortunate enough at the Newcastle Jets we have a good playing strip sponsored by BLK with some great sponsors on board as well this season. I guess two quotes that have rung home to me over the years was just a simple quote that was said to me after I made my debut from a good friend of mine. He said that you need to aspire and believe in your aspirations to achieve, and after that, when I first made my debut at the Youth World Cup, I got that tattooed on my left arm, and obviously, you know, my parents weren't too happy about getting the tattoos, but since then I've got another quote tattooed on my right arm, which is Mia San Mia, which means we are who we are, which is a slogan from my favourite boyhood club, which is Bayern Munich. I believe the best advice I could give a local Novocastrian boy or girl that wants to represent the Newcastle Jets in either the A-League or the W-League is to just first and foremost, obviously as a young player, enjoy your football. I believe that, you know, if you're happy when you go to work and you enjoy what you do, then you'll give a better performance. Whether you're a footballer or you're working in an office, you know, if you're happy when you go to work, I believe that, you know, you'll get the best outcome. And obviously the Newcastle fans demand a passionate performance every week. So I believe that if you're having a bad day technically, for example, on the ball, then obviously the minimum you can give is 100% work ethic. And you know, if you enjoy what you do and you give your best, then I'm sure, you know, you'll fit the mould for a Newcastle.